Hey YouTube, it's Landon with Order the Traveling Hats, and today I've got a video where we're going to talk about the different kinds of cases that are available on the market to kind of help you organize for your expedition. I've got a lot of different cases here featured today, from very inexpensive to very expensive high-end cases. I use most of these when we go out. I've kind of acquired them over the years and gone through different phases of things, and each one of them can kind of serve a little bit different purpose and will fit your budget depending on what you're trying to do. So let's go through these. I think what we ought to do first is kind of go through the Plano boxes I've got over here. They're the most affordable, and they have some drawbacks, but not maybe as many as you think. So let's go over here and check those out. Okay, so guys, these are these Plano boxes. You can get them at pretty much any sporting goods store. They're plastic, they're kind of flimsy. You can kind of press on the lids. You aren't going to be able to stand on them. I don't even know if you could really sit on them or not. I never really tried to. This is kind of what they do when we get to camp. I get them out of the truck and I stack them up. They're useful. They don't really have a great seal on them. They've got plastic latches that do open, so I'll open one up. This one I think has got sleep gear in it. Nope, cooking gear. They don't really have a water seal on them at all. They just kind of close on top of one another and kind of shingle over each other, so it would shed water in a light rain. But it's not going to really seal. It's not going to be dust proof per se. So I use these to kind of transport stuff that is not going to be necessary to keep dust proof and or completely waterproof. So they go in the bed of the truck. They're really nice because they've got rollers on one end, so I can just kind of roll them in and then pull them out almost like a drawer and set them on the ground. I put mostly cooking utensils in this one and some canned food or canned goods, whatever we're going to take with us camping that isn't really perishable and doesn't really need to be stored in a dry case. You know, so your paper plates, paper towels, stuff that, like, if it got a little damp, it wouldn't be the end of the world. The other one under this one, typically I put like my sleep pad, sleeping bag, you know, tent stakes, things like that, that again are going to be exposed to the elements anyway. And it's just a good way to keep them organized. I can pack these up, toss them in the truck, and just kind of secure them down in the bed of the truck and go. And it's a really easy way to do that. So these really are more for organization. They aren't really for being waterproof or dust proof, but like I said, I kind of selectively use them because they're convenient and they're really, really cheap. I think these things, I want to say I got them on sale. They were like 30 bucks a piece maybe. So they're really, really affordable. And if you're just starting out and you don't want to spend a lot of money on some of these other cases and don't really need to, because all you're really looking for is a tote that's really easy to move around. They are stackable. These are a great option. They're really, really pretty well made for what they are, and will really serve you pretty well, I think, again, depending on what your needs are. So I think the next thing we ought to do is probably go talk about these rigid cases. They're kind of probably the next step up. So these are the rigid cases. You can get these at Home Depot. They're good cases. They're really well made. They're pretty heavy duty, pretty tough cases. They are, according to the manufacturer, dustproof and waterproof, although there is not an intrusion protection rating on them, or an IP rating that a lot of folks probably are familiar with. Rigid on their website doesn't really give them that rating. They just say they're dustproof and waterproof, and I assume that they are. If you open these up, they've got really nice metal latches on them that are pretty heavy duty. They are lockable, actually, so they've got a little locking tab right here. You can put a lock on if you wanted to, so that's nice. And if we open this one up, it's got kind of a lid in it that's pretty thick. It interfaces with these detachable little bins that you can store some tools in. Now, I don't have any tools in here. What I typically carry is an impact wrench and some impact sockets to be able to change a tire, do stuff like that with, and I can fit my impact wrench, an extra battery, and some impact sockets and extensions and stuff in this one, and then this lid keeps it secure so that stuff won't rattle around, and it's kind of compartmentalized and it's pretty nice. It works well for that. You can also see on here there's a nice rubber gasket that goes all the way around. It's orange, so you can really see it on these, but it interfaces with the bottom of the case and it keeps it dustproof and waterproof, and it clamps down pretty well with these clamps, and it's a great case. They aren't very heavy. They're really well made. They do have an interesting trick in that right now I can pick up both cases at the same time by these handles. These handles on the bottom will unsnap from the case on top, and you can take that case off, and it gives you access to the case below it. So when you're stacking these time down, you can just kind of snap them together and go. There's actually another case that you can get for these. It's got wheels on it, and you can stack all three of them up and kind of have a mobile tool chest if you want to. I just use the two of them. They work really well for what I need. I can fit all the tools we need for working on a Jeep pretty much in the bottom one, like I said, my impact wrench in the top one, and that's pretty much what I use this for. They're great cases. I've been really pleased with them. Again, they are not very expensive, and you can find them on sale at Home Depot. I don't really remember exactly how much I paid for these, but I will look up the link and post that in the description of the video, so you guys can go online and look at these, because I think the price has probably changed on them a little bit since I bought them a couple of years ago. So that's the rigid case. The next case we ought to talk about probably are these Pelicans. So these Pelican cases are really phenomenal. They're great cases. I think everybody's probably seen a Pelican case or heard of a Pelican case. They're almost indestructible. They're made out of a fiber reinforced resin. They are dustproof, waterproof. I believe Pelican rates these to an IP67 rating, which means you can submerge them in 3 feet of water for 30 minutes and you won't get water intrusion, and they are completely dustproof. Now I've got two kind of different generations here on the table. I've got this Pelican Mini D case, which I don't even know if they make anymore. This case is over 20 years old. It's the first case that I ever got. I got it to hold camera gear back a long time ago when I was in college, and it's been a great case. They do have a pressure relief valve on this one that unscrews. And this one, I think I'll show you, has got different latches on it. These latches are really skinny. They're just big enough kind of for one finger to fit on, and they snap in place. And this one actually has some tools in it. This has got cleaning supplies for a rifle, actually. But that's kind of what I use it for now. It's been retired from camera duty. Now it's just kind of, when I go hunting and stuff, I like to be able to carry cleaning kits, supplies and stuff for a rifle. So that's kind of what this one does now. Works really well for that. It's the perfect size, and I can just toss it, in the cab or in the back of the truck, and it can rattle around, and I'm pretty sure that everything in it is going to be just fine without any problems. So this one is a Pelican 1500 case. It is newer. I bought this, I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago, and they've changed the design of the latches. They're now much wider, and they've got kind of this elbow piece in them, so when they're easier to open and close. They snap really well. This one I use as a spotting scope holder, so it's got a spotting scope in it, and it's got the foam. This has the pinch and pull foam. You just kind of, it's got a grid already cut through it and in it, and it's just kind of perforated, so you can pull out the foam you want into whatever shape you need to be able to fit your equipment in it. So I've got some stuff for the spotting scope here, a little strap for it, the actual spotting scope. I've got some lens paper to clean the spotting scope that I just kind of stuck between the pinch and pull parts of the foam. Works really well, again, with this thing in the foam. I can literally just toss it in the back of the truck. I've actually carried this case across the country to go hunting, and carried my spotting scope out there to go elk hunting out west, and carried it home and never had to worry about it getting hurt or damaged or injuring the lens or anything like that. These are great cases. This has been a fantastic case. A lot more expensive than these rigid cases or the Plano cases. These cases are not cheap. Again, can't remember the pricing right off the top of my head when I bought this. I think I found it on sale and it was $100 or something. I'll post the link in the description below for a 1500 case as well, so you guys can go see it and kind of get an idea for how much they cost. But they are quite a step up from these rigid cases, and definitely a step up from the Pelican cases. But you are getting what you pay for. You're getting a completely water and dust-proof case that is pretty much bulletproof. Comes with a foam insert, and you can order new foam inserts from Pelican after you've used them. If you want to put something else in there that's a different shape, you can just get with Pelican and they'll send you a new foam insert, no problem. So really great case. They're also lockable. They've got a metal reinforced locking areas on both sides of the lid there, and this one does too. It's plastic only, but it's on either side of the lid right there, so you can put locks on it. So those are the Pelican cases that I've got that are small. I think while we're up here, we ought to go through this Zargs case. So the final case on the table here, not the final case we're going to go through today, is this Zargs case. I just got this one and actually have not had the opportunity to take it out yet, so it's still pretty new. These are made out of aluminum. They're really expensive. This is the most expensive case I've got. I think this one runs about $300, maybe a little bit more, $340. I got it on sale actually at the More Expo in Springfield. They were running a deal on them, so I got a really good price on this. Again, as all of these, we're going to post a link in the description. It's got spring-loaded handles that kind of, they spring so they don't stick out. You can pick it up and carry them and release them. It's got these clamping metal handles. It's all metal. It's all made out of aluminum, but you can open it up and it's got a smooth aluminum bottom down here with a kind of a really smooth finish, and then it's got an O-ring made onto the top. It's got these nice straps so the lid doesn't flip back, and the lid actually swings down and overlaps over the case by, I don't know, probably a good 1.5 inches. These are great cases. I'd love to have more of them. They're just too darn expensive to get. In this case, really what I got it for was for dry storage when we're out camping for stuff that smells. These are supposed to be bear proof. They're basically supposed to be something that a bear can't get into. I do know for a fact I've put coffee in this one, and when you open it up, you can smell the coffee. You can't smell it with it closed, so pretty confident that it stays pretty well airtight and sealed, and is going to be helpful to kind of protect our food from wildlife, stuff that's not canned, etc., that we want to kind of protect and keep. And for just me or me and the missus when we're out camping for like 2 or 3 days, this actually will probably hold enough of that kind of food between that and our ice chests and in our Plano case to feed us for several days. I'm pretty confident. So that's why I got this one. It's again a little bit specialized. These are really expensive, and while I would love to have more of them, and we may even get more of them in the future, I don't know. I may upgrade some of the Pelican cases to these over time because I really do like them. They've got these feet on top that are cast aluminum basically, that you can stack these on top of one another and they won't go anywhere. They pretty much lock together like Lego blocks. Really looking forward to getting some more experience with this case because it's super well made, and I'm just super impressed with it. Also, Zargs has got a mounting system that interfaces on the lip at the bottom of the case, and then you can bolt it down to a roof rack. You can bolt it to, I guess, a goose gear probably, whatever you want to do to kind of make one of these to where it's rigidly mounted somewhere and can't move. They're just really versatile cases, really great. Again, they're really, really expensive. The handles on them have got little holes made onto the side where you can put locks, so they are also lockable. You can secure these. Can't say enough about the Zargs case. Really, I'm impressed with the product. Also have the least experience with the product, so hopefully I'll have to give you guys an update in the coming months after we get a little bit of mileage on this one and see how it goes. But very impressed with it so far. They're also super light. I think they're quite a bit lighter than the equivalently sized Pelican case, just because they're made out of aluminum, and they're still really, really strong. So. The next thing I want to talk about are these Pelican cases that you can't see in the frame right now. They're on the ground. I'm going to get one of them up here and we'll talk about that. Alright, this is my Pelican 1750 case. This one kind of matches the other Pelican 1500 case I've got because this is a rifle case, and it's the case that I took my rifling out west both times that I've gone elk hunting out there in the last couple of years. This case doesn't have the foam insert in it currently. I'll go ahead and show you that. It does have the same big, nice kind of double hinged latches on it. It's really easy to unlatch, just like the 1500. And it opens up and will swing all the way over. And like I said, I don't have the foam insert in it at the moment, but it has one that goes in the top and goes in the bottom, just like the 1500 case. It's got the big O-ring that goes all the way around the lid. These are great cases. Again, I can throw a rifle in this with the scope on it and a couple of magazines that I need to go with the rifle. Pretty much everything except the ammo goes in this, and then it can go in the back of the truck or in the bed or wherever, and I can ride cross country with confidence that when I get there the rifle's going to be in good shape. It's not going to get hurt, dinged around, anything like that. So really can travel with confidence. These are also TSA rated, so you can actually lock these, I'm pretty sure, and you could fly somewhere with a rifle. You do have to check it, but it is possible to do. You need to contact your airline and look at the regulations per the FAA before you do that, but there is a method by which you can do that if you're going on a long distance hunting trip. These are great cases. This is an expensive case. I think these cost about 300 bucks nowadays. I got this one, like I said, a couple of years ago, and I think it was about $250. But they're really fantastic. Can't say enough good about Pelican. The next case I want to go over is the other one that I've got on the floor, and I'm going to put it up here and just show it to you. So let me get it out. Okay, so this is the other rifle case, basically. It looks like a Pelican case. There's some subtle differences on it and these grid lines that go over it. The hinges are located in slightly different places. This one has 5 hinges. The Pelican's only got 4 hinges. Pelican hinges maybe are a little bit bigger. But this one is not a Pelican case at all. This is an Apache 9800 case from Harbor Freight. Now, I got this one on their sidewalk sale recently for $115, and I have a very specific use case for it that I really can't tell you yet. It's kind of a secret, but it's coming in a future video. We are going to modify this one to make it fit that use case, and so I didn't want to spend the money on a Pelican case because we are going to modify this, which is going to require us to cut some holes in it and try to seal it so that it retains its waterproof rating. This is, I believe, IP66 rated, so it's rated for water jets and water spray, but it is not rated for water immersion. But it is completely dust proof. It does have nice big latches, and they open up, but they're a simpler latch than the Pelican case has. There's also 4 of them. It is a lockable case, and it opens up, and it does have a very large, nice, big rubber O-ring that goes all the way around the periphery of the case and interface as well with the bottom of the case. There's a raised kind of ridge that's lipped here that this goes into. So this case also has a pressure relief valve, just like the Pelican case. They're really almost identical. Not a lot of difference. I don't know if there's a big difference in the resins that they're using or what, but these seems like it's going to work for what I need it to do. Again, can't get into that exactly, but it was cheap, and if I mess it up, it's going to be, kind of crappy because I'll be out about 100 bucks, but it won't be the end of the world. So that's why I did not get another Pelican case for what this one is going to be used for. So I think what's kind of interesting to do is maybe compare these side by side a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and open both of them. Now again, the latches on them are different. These don't have the double hinged kind of latch. These Pelican case latches are easier to actuate because of that. You don't really notice it if you've just got a Pelican case, but if you've got them side by side, you certainly do start to notice that. Now, when we open these, you'll notice that this has quite a bit of play in it, which is normal. It's a really long piece of plastic. It's got some flex, got some give. When it's closed and locks on itself, it's extremely rigid. And with the foam insert in there, it's super rigid. This one just doesn't have the foam insert in it at the moment. But it's got some play because it's kind of a long plastic piece. I think you can see that in frame. This one, I kind of thought would do the same thing but worse, but turns out it's really about the same. It's got about the same amount of play in it as the Pelican. So I'm really curious to see when I get this modified and set up for its intended use, how well it's going to work. So that's in a future video. We're waiting on some other parts to come in to be able to use this thing the way we want. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that in a future video. And I think it's going to be a really interesting solution to a problem, and hopefully a good budget solution for a problem. So guys, that's going to about wrap it up for the case review. We went through several different cases today, from inexpensive cases like those Planos all the way up to the most expensive case that I've got, that Zargs Case, and everything I've got in between that I actually use. I don't have any Rome cases. I haven't really been around Rome that much. I've always kind of been a Pelican user. If you guys have any personal experience with Rome cases versus Pelican or any of the cases that we talked about today, please let me know in the comments. I'd be curious to know your thoughts. I hope this video kind of shows you guys that you don't have to break the bank on storage, and you really probably should consider your use case before buying the most expensive case out there. These Plano cases are very affordable, and if you don't need absolute water and dust proofness, they're a great option. If you're like me and you've got a camper shell or some kind of bed cap where you can kind of keep the rain off of them and most of the dust off of them, they're a great option, and you can just toss them in the back and keep your stuff from rattling around. It allows you to organize it, and they are stackable in your campsite, so it's also kind of nice. But if you need more, you can step up to a rigid box or Pelican case or even beyond. It just kind of depends, I think, more on the use case than necessarily getting the best, most expensive case out there. And as fuel prices have gone up this year and the price of food and everything else has kind of been creeping up on us a little bit, unfortunately, being able to stay on budget and not break the bank on storage for your trips is really great, because it allows you to go on more trips. And that's kind of the point of all this. So again, please let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. It really does help us out a lot so that we can produce more content like this. I am Landon. This is Order the Traveling Hats, and we hope to see you out there.